Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide and to the nice weather early August edition of Q&A. Living in Norway, you gotta make really good use of good weather when we have some. So let's begin. This is in relation to Boox Go 10.3. So will there be a 13.3 inch version with a good software? That Tab X was awful. I don't know, but we shall see. I certainly hope so, that there is a Go 13.3 version, because that thing would be absolutely spectacular, especially if it's using an even newer panel with much bigger resolution. That would be great. As far as Tab X, I wholeheartedly disagree. I still have my Tab X and I really love using it. Yes, it does have shortcomings, but it also has some huge pluses. So I guess it really depends on your use case scenario, what type of research was done, etc., and ultimately what the expectations were. Hi, I just received my Ultra Pro C e-ink and I noticed that the camera isn't working. When I open the Snapdragon camera app, it says camera initialization failed or video failed when I switch from photo to video. Do you have any idea why? No. There's two things that you can try. Well, one thing that you can try and one thing that you can do. One thing to try is factory reset and make sure that you are using the supplied camera app to see how it communicates with the camera and if the factory reset actually helps. And if that doesn't help, then you really need to contact the Boox support, because then maybe there is something actually physically wrong with the camera on your device. I purchased a Tab Mini C for my wife last Christmas. I want one for me, but I'm concerned about Android update. Do I wait for the new version, or getting one right now is a good idea? Well, considering that we're now mid-August, probably going to be mid-August when this comes out, this video comes out, and knowing that Boox release schedule is basically, there's lots of ants here, so I'm just kind of checking out if I should move or not. No, they're cool. We're cool. Yeah, considering that Boox's release schedule is usually late September, early October, and they roll out some new devices there, and also if you take into consideration that the Note Air 3 is no longer available, I would wait for that release cycle to go through so that we can see what it is that they have in store for the end of 2024, because it's almost guaranteed that we're going to see some new products. Whether or not there's going to be like a Go 7.8 or something like that, that would be pretty cool. So I think it's definitely worth waiting to see and then make a decision. Hi Voya, thanks for the video. I remember that you once did a video about whiteness of screens and comparing them to paper. How does the Boox Go 10.3 stand in that comparison? Is there recognizable improvement with 300 ppi screens? I haven't done a direct comparison yet in a measured way, so I don't really know what the definitive answer is to that question. It's something that I may do at some point. But the subjective impression overall is that when I do put them side by side, they're very similar, but there may be something going in favor of the Go 10.3. Whether or not that's just an optical illusion, it might easily be, but the perception is one of that it may be maybe not whiter, but the contrast is definitely stronger, and that makes a very strong impression, I think. At least that the image is clearer and maybe not necessarily brighter, but it does give that impression. So that is my impression of that. But the actual measurement, no, I haven't done, so I don't really know the answer to that yet. I'm interested in dictating to an e-ink device. Obviously, a Boox can host a dictation app, but do you have any insights on the dictation experience? Are the microphones up to scratch? Is the speed viable, etc.? And is the Boox the only option? And I was serious about the shirt question. It's a great shirt. Thanks. I don't know when the shirt question was Squirrel! Sorry. I don't know when the shirt question was mentioned, but yeah, I just buy them locally here in Norway. Dressman, H&M, Cubus, that kind of thing. As for the dictating experience, I haven't used it extensively, but every time I made a test of any sort, even if it was like a longer one, like for a minute or so, I didn't notice any problems whatsoever. The speech-to-text software was really good, and it performed just like a phone. So it was as reliable as a phone is, because yeah, it has an octa-core CPU, it's powerful enough to actually do all of those things. So yeah, I think that they should be up to speed, especially the more powerful versions of the Boox devices. This is in regards to the NocFree Lite split keyboard. Thanks for posting this in-depth review. Do you have any comments regarding the configuration app for remapping keys, creating layers? Well, no, since that's a standard app, it's not their own dedicated app, it's a general app that can be used on many other keyboards. And I just tested it and it just worked normally. There was zero concerns or anything like that. Like, it worked perfectly fine. Question in regards to Go 10.3, will notes created in a Boox Tab Ultra C transfer over to a Go 10.3? Not concerned about the color loss, but need my notebook and not as a PDF converted. I'm asking this because I have a Tab Ultra C, use it almost every day and take with me most of the time, but dropped it a little too often without the case so so considering getting a new tablet. Yeah, as long as you are logging in using your Boox account on both of the devices, and you make sure that your Tab Ultra C is synchronized with your Boox account, when you log in with that account on your Go 10.3 and you perform the sync, yeah, then everything will be fine, and the notebooks will not be exported. They will be in their native notebook format, so you will be able to just continue working on seamlessly. And furthermore, that synchronization actually translates to between devices of different dimensions as well. So the same is true for a smaller device that's 7.8 inch or a larger device that's 13.3 inch. You are kind of covered as long as you're using the Boox account to synchronize between multiple devices. Hi Voya, I'm considering purchasing an e-ink device for some very specific needs. I work with scanned books in PDF format, therefore the files are quite large, some up to 100 megabytes. I need a device that allows me to work with these large files in a split screen format, therefore the larger the screen the better, so that on one part of the screen I can view the file and on the other annotate comments in a separate text file, preferably in a graph paper template. I also need these scanned documents to be easily exportable with the respective annotations and highlights made on them, as well as the created text documents in a format compatible with MS Word. Which device among these available on the market would you recommend considering the above needs? Thank you very much in advance. Congratulations on your work and apologies for the length of my question. Not a problem at all. It's a very valid question and very nicely formulated. Without a shadow of a doubt, I would recommend Boox devices for that. And considering that you are looking for a larger format, well then for 13.3 inch devices you only have one thing so far, which is the Boox Tab X. But maybe later this year, September, October, if Boox announces new devices, maybe we will get a new one, maybe a Go 13.3 or something like that. So it's worth waiting to actually see what comes out. But the rest of the stuff, 10.3 also works well. And the really good thing about Boox platform is that you can definitely have split screen in your reader with PDF files, but you can also have notebooks that are associated with specific PDF files. So then you don't have to hunt them or anything like that. They're actually just kind of contained within each other, and absolutely you can export different formats easily. Notebooks, the whole things. You can actually even export the summarization of the work that you're doing on marking up and highlighting your PDF file, if it's text file. If it's just images, then of course there's nothing to do there, but you can export that as well. So yeah, there's a whole slew of tools available on the Boox platform, and if I was the one doing that type of work, that I had to do that type of work, I would use a Boox device for that type of work. Acceleration of objects in Earth's gravity field does not depend on the mass and is constant, approximately 9.81 meters per second square, which is absolutely correct. But in that section of the video, I was actually talking about the impact force. And you are right, I made a mistake because I said that the mass will affect everything, acceleration and everything. So that's where the mistake is. So you are absolutely correct. However, the impact force is directly linked to the mass of the object, and that was ultimately the point that I was trying to make. I still have the first generation of Boox Nova 7.8 from 2018. Is this Boox page a big upgrade and worth for upgrade? I can tell the speed is faster. Is the resolution also better? Because my old Boox Nova is blah 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 and this is blah blah blah, so the resolution is not as good. Is the screen also smaller as 7-inch? Well, I think you need to do a little bit more research because these are not devices that you can directly compare. First of all, yes, Boox page is smaller because it's 7-inch, not 7.8 inch, so there's the difference in the resolution, but they are both 300 ppi. But most importantly, your Nova is handwriting capable. Page is not. Page is just a reader. Nova is an e-note device. So if you are using note-taking capabilities on your Nova, then you absolutely have to keep that in mind because Page is not capable of doing that. As for the rest of the stuff, yeah, it's absolutely faster and newer and all of that kind of stuff, but yeah, it depends what you want to use it for. And also we are nearing that time of the year when we might expect new products from Boox, so it might be a good idea to actually just wait what comes out and then make a decision. Very curious about which you still pick up 3 years later. This is in relation to the best pen and nib combination. For me, it's the Staedtler Jumbo or the Kindle Premium. Well, I agree with the Kindle Premium. Kindle Premium is really good pen, and like there's nothing wrong with that pen. It's absolutely awesome. It just comes down to a personal preference, and I gravitate and switch between Kindle Premium or my trusty old Samsung S6 Lite pen. I simply love the feel, the radius, the size, the weight, and everything about the Samsung S6 pen, S6 Lite pen, and I've been using it for years now, so that's the one that I use most of the time. But if I reach out and grab the Kindle Scribe Premium pen, I certainly won't object because that is an awesome pen as well. As for nibs, there I'm starting to gravitate towards slightly harder. There's like a Samsung gray nib, which is a little bit harder plastic, but it actually gives you a sharper and more precise tip. And that's something that I'm starting to actually like a little bit more. And I'm starting to be less and less of a fan of the regular soft nib, felt nib, nibs that we use on other devices. So yeah, that's basically where I am currently at. I'm using my Samsung S6 Lite pen with the Samsung harder gray nib that's sharper. We bought the Boox Go 10.3 but had to return it. When we tried to transfer our work in notes from the Boox onto a USB-C thumb drive and onto an SD card attached through the same port hub, there was no option to do so. Notes will not allow you to save, export or copy anything onto the external drive, even though both the thumb drive and the SD card were recognized by the Boox device itself. That is a deal breaker. Have you tried reading a user manual or maybe asking a question? Whether or not it is possible to do something, or if you've really explored all the options before making a judgment that something is possible or not. Have you even attempted that, or flat out no? Because this seems like it's a flat out no, and that's just kind of lazy. Because you absolutely can export notebooks. You can export them as PDF as images, which is rasterized. You can export them as vector format, and then you can do whatever you want with those files afterwards. You can certainly put them on a USB drive. You can put them on a micro SD card slot. You can put them that's on a USB hub. You can upload them to your Google Drive, to your Dropbox, to your OneDrive, anything. But it does take a barest minimal effort of actually learning how to use the device that you have in your hands, and it doesn't seem like you did that barest minimum in this instance. Will you recommend watching video on that device? And that device is the Boox Tab Ultra C Pro. I wouldn't recommend watching video on any e-ink device. Simply, it wouldn't be my preference for all of these things. However, out of all of the e-ink devices that are available out there, Tab Ultra C and Tab Ultra C Pro would be the ones that would give you kind of the best results because of all the technology and the performance combined. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for actually watching videos on an e-ink device, then the Tab Ultra C Pro will give you probably the best results, but obviously that's not going to be good, is it? Because it's an e-ink device. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you found the video and the setting enjoyable and or useful or inspiring or something like that. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the video below, and to get notified when new videos come out on my deep guide, and also post additional questions that you may have so that I can use them in the next editions of the Q&A on my deep guide. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.